try to leave it behind. The things you've seen. The things you've lost. One day you'll return, you say. One day.
Okay, Xbox 360 Showcase. We've just seen Steel Battalion. Guys, can I just say, whoa, that was something else. I feel it was just very, very impressive. And I like that you guys have come in the full regalia. You've got the outfits, you've got the grenades and everything like this. Is this going to be a giveaway for pre-orders of Steel Battalion?
No.
Okay, well, let's obviously start from the beginning with it. You've got Steel Battalion, a classic game series. You're implementing Kinect. How do you guys start integrating the two together?
So basically, the reason we've got Kinect and controller together comes from the fact, controllers they have decades of history. Starting from the old pad days, coming up to now, Xbox 360 controllers, probably almost to a point of perfection. So our concept, or our idea, was to basically keep that going. There's no point abandoning the controller just because there's something new as Kinect. So we wanted to do things that people are going to be familiar with the controller, and things that people can basically do in addition should be done in Kinect. So all the basics moves are going to be done on controller, but all other exciting moves that you can do on top of the basic movements would all be done in Kinect. And these two are put together seamlessly, which basically gives you a very continuous, non-interrupting experience. And I think it turned out really well.
I have to say, I really did enjoy myself sitting there. In terms of what you decided would work for the controller and what you decided would work for Kinect, when you're deciding what you want to work for Kinect, how do you work out, okay, where do you balance between this is too complex and this is just the right amount of controls and contraptions that will provide an interesting gameplay experience?
So basically, there are some things that you can do in game. For instance, pulling down the periscope. Right now, okay, you can do it with if you do that with a button, it just doesn't fit right. So for moves like that, where you would literally raise your arm and drop down, which then is recognized by Kinect as pulling down your periscope, things like that, we decided that it has to be done through Kinect. But other movements that requires more of a constant ongoing thing, like moving and then turning your camera or turning your head, things like that would be done on a controller. So I mean, it was a very difficult process actually going through all the different moves and deciding what should be done with a controller, what should be done with Kinect. But I think now it's pretty much a good. We've hit a sweet spot, I think. Yeah.
And following on from that, I mean, it's futuristic warfare, but the feel of the tank, the whole look of it has got even that opening level we saw has got the sort of Normandy feel of it. Did you decide to go for that sort of visual effect and design because that meant that the tank, the Kinect feel would feel that very clunky sort of like you're pulling levers, you can feel it, the smoke coming in and everything, rather than a futuristic sort of tech mech that's just absolutely perfect?
So I'm obviously a big fan of the World War II era and the military weapons of those days, but we've set it in the future, and it's a world where there's no semiconductors. So, it's set in the future, and the political situation obviously has moved on. But what hasn't moved on is the technology. In fact, it's gone backwards. And, it's also true that everything in the VT, the vertical tank, is controlled mechanically. There's no electric buttons. So I think we didn't actually intend for that, but it turned out really well that, everything has to be mechanical. And all the levers has to be pulled physically, instead of just pressing a button where everything's automated. So, that's pretty awesome.
And obviously, a big important part of making your V work is your comrades in the cockpit. How important is the psychological aspect of the warfare playing into Steel Battalion? As far as I understand it, you have to stop your comrades escaping because they lose faith and such during the battle. How do you develop that?
For Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, this is all about immersiveness and pursuit of reality. So in games these days, you get, oh, this is really realistic. They usually mean like the physics or the engine or just the graphically realistic concept of the games. But in fact, you go to a war, people die, and whether be it their side or your side, people die. And we wanted to portray the reality in that sense. This really loud guy who you couldn't shut up for the sake of anything, gets one shot in the neck and he's dead, and the whole tank just goes all silent. This sort of moment happens, and we kind of wanted to describe the real warfare, reality of warfare or battlefield, in fact, all in one. So people die, and just this awkward silence, really gets to you, and it's also a very psychological game, I think.
We're talking about the reality of war. That's an incredibly tough game. Now, I feel really bad to put my hand up and say I died within about 20 seconds of that first level. It's probably the most embarrassing moment in my gaming career. How do you guys feel bringing? I mean, that perhaps is the most difficult game I've seen in the last few years, other than maybe Dark Souls or Demon Souls. How do you guys feel like bringing such a difficult game into the marketplace?
Okay, this game is difficult. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it wasn't that hard. The thing is, there's a lot of random elements. There's a lot of unpredictability. So if there could be a mortar that's just dropping in random places, and you could have happened to be there, and you'd have died. But we've set a lot of spawn points. So if you die and game over, you can then start from the point. The save points, and you don't have to start all over again. And you'd obviously know what to do next. There's a tank that way, so instead of going straight ahead, maybe destroy that tank first, etc. So maybe if you play it again, you'd probably be able to play for 30 seconds.
That's lovely to hear. I think just sort of wrapping up, is there anything that you wish players to know and the audience to know about Steel Battalion for them to pick it up when it's released?
This Steel Battalion Heavy Armor is in the making with collaboration of many companies, such as Capcom, obviously is hopefully renowned for its core game, very traditional core game legacy. Teamed up with From Software, the makers of Demon Souls and Dark Souls. These two together, we're not going to come out with anything half-assed here. And so we hope to basically blow away this image that some people tend to have about what Kinect games are like. So this really is for the hardcore gamers who are itching to play, an enticing game on Kinect.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for the both of you. Cheers.
Get that smoke clear. Man the MG.